Ciao, 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 everyone. Hello, fellow wedding and event pros. Zoe Felici here. It is Felici Friday. Straight up 11 a.m. Pacific. You guys, the winds of change are here. And I'm not talking about metaphorically. It has been so windy here where I am in Southern California for the last 24 hours or so. And I always joke around how the winds of change are here when we get these big windstorms or Santa Anas or whatever you call them. There's different ones. And it actually gives me enthusiasm because it reminds me that, yes, change is here. It just takes a gust of wind. It takes a big something to create change sometimes. And I really welcome the change that these winds of change are bringing. And metaphorically, I also meant it because you guys, I keep talking about it. This wedding and event boom is here now. I mean, I keep reading articles after articles. Every day they come up, whether it's the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Knot, Brides Magazine, you name it. Everyone's talking about this wedding boom, and they have been since February, as I have been, because we knew in our heart of hearts that what was happening last year wouldn't last forever. And human nature, like I say, really created this desire, even a bigger desire for human nature, for humans to want to get together, to celebrate, to see their families, for corporate events to take care of their employees, weddings to continue happening and families to get together, reunions, bar mitzvahs. I mean, you name it. And people want, and they'll make any excuse at this point to get together because they haven't been able to. So now more than ever is the time to really dial in. We don't have much time, and really dialing in our systems, our processes, what's happening in our industry, and having clarity and path on it, a clear path on it, so that we can make it the best year in 2021 that we've ever had in our business. So whether you've been in business for a couple short years right before the pandemic shut down, or 10, 20, 15, 20 years like myself, we've had our ups and downs. Last year was definitely a bigger down, but that's why I want to talk about today is why lack of learning can be destroying your bottom line. And the reason that I'm so passionate about this, and the reason that I'm coaching and sharing my knowledge and experience with all these wedding and event professionals with you guys, is because I am so fortunate that I came from a very structured environment where there was a lot of training, there was a lot of learning. I came from a corporate background that has such a refined system and such huge success in what they do with luxury hotels and resorts. I talk about this all the time. And applying what I learned working for them in my early 20s and so forth has been so beneficial for me and my business. And I just love to pay it forward and share this information with you guys so that we can all, and this is really only for the serious people, if you seriously want to scale your business, if you seriously want to uncover 5-figure months in your business and have a 6-figure a year event business, this is absolutely for you because it is doable. So let's get right to it. Let's talk about what are 4 ways that lack of learning can be destroying your bottom line. So first and foremost, let's talk about why is it important to put learning and education first about your wedding and, learning and education about your wedding and event business right now, putting it first. Why should learning come first? And I'm doing this 45-day challenge with you guys. And the reason that I'm doing it is because we get so overwhelmed. So our industry is, there's that movie Groundhog Day where Bill Murray gets up and every single day the same things happen. But if he changes one part of what happens, the day might go different, but he ends up having the same result. I joke around that our industry is the opposite of Groundhog Day because in my experience, I've woken up thinking, oh, these are the things I need to take care of today. This is my task list, if you will. And that changes because I might get a new inquiry. I might get a client who needs something, or, a weather report for an upcoming event and I have to switch gears and focus on that, or something in my business, my website breaks, or whatever the case might be. There's so many other factors that oftentimes we tend to be in such a reactive mode, chasing after all the tasks and to do things. But right now, one thing that can be stagnant or set the sail for us is learning, is education, is doing the one thing. And that's what these 45 days are about, choosing one thing every day that you can apply into your business and doing that. So today it's about learning and education and putting that first. So let's talk about why. Why is this important? What are 4 ways that having a platform where you learn or you get some education about your event business, whether it's a styling program about how to style and take pictures about flat lays, to something about your business, how to SEO, for instance, right? There's all these different ways that we can learn things about our business that we may not know. So what needs to happen is you really, the first thing you need to do, this is just like if you take your car to the mechanic, something's not working, if it's not starting, or if it doesn't run well, or it's there's a tire issue, there's a muffler issue. These are all different brakes, these are all different symptoms of your car not running, right? So you take it to the mechanic, there's something wrong. A mechanic can be specific about, this is old parts, it's affecting this other thing, and that's not working. Those are the 3 things you need to change to make your car run smoothly. That's what you need to do with your business, right? So one thing that I've learned in my years is we all get attracted to shiny objects. We have shiny object syndrome in our industry because we love to learn. We're creatives. We're business owners. We want to be the best of the best. And how many times have you guys taken a lesson, signed up for something, and you have that tab open, or you get an email about something, you're like, oh, I think that article is going to be great. Then you save that tab so that you can read it later, and you never get around to it, right? So the first thing that needs to happen is you need to take an assessment of what is really the priority in your business. And that's why I'm doing this 45-day challenge. What is the one thing? Because we can't apply this to every single thing. That's where we get overwhelmed. That's where we get confused. That's where we have our to-do list that never gets taken care of. So once you find what that one thing, priority one, and you guys, I say this all the time, it needs to be, we're here to make money, right? We enjoy doing events. It brings us joy in our hearts and our souls to put together events, see people have a great time. I totally get it. And events are fun. Most of us started doing events because of a passion, because we enjoy getting people together, and the money was a secondary motivator. But the bottom line is, I'm talking to people who want to make a living doing events, who are, not only are they really, really good at putting events together, but then they also want to make money and have a livelihood doing it without spinning their wheels. Because the other thing is that we're running a business here. Everything takes so much longer when we're doing it ourselves, when we're solopreneurs, which is a lot of our industry. So we end up working oodles amount of hours because we're trying to do it all. We're trying to learn it all. We have all those tabs open, right? So step number 1 is really assess what is the one thing, and hint, hint, revenue driven. What is not working in your business that is not bringing you the revenue that you want and desire, okay? So that's my hint to you. But what is the one thing for you? So let's talk about these 4 ways that learning can either increase or honestly destroy your bottom line, whether you do it or don't. And again, I come from luxury properties where we had trainings quarterly, regardless of the properties that I worked at. I remember with a property, an independent luxury resort where I live here, the reason I moved to where I am today, years ago, they invested in the management and us quite a bit and brought in educators, I want to say every quarter, and we were required to take these courses. And one of them, probably one of my favorite ones ever, was Stephen Covey. Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and I still refer to it to this day. And it was so impactful for me. And again, there's so many things that I apply to it, not only when I was working at that property in my career, but I adopted them and adapted them into running my business. And that was such a gift. The education of having, I think it was a 4-day retreat, 4-day seminar. And I remember, you guys, we were busy as heck at the property I was working at. I was like, there is no way I can take 4 days away from work, plus try to take a day off, plus be able to effectively run my department, and not work like oodles amounts of hours. And that's really the mindset that often people have. They're like, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. How am I going to do this? There's no way. I don't have time. But you guys, that's so counterintuitive, because it's about making the time so that you can have the time. That's really what ends up happening when you get this education and you get these learnings about the right things. And again, for me, the Stephen Covey, that's just one of the many courses that we took, but that one really stood out because it taught me so many things that I apply in my business that save me time right now. And one of the first things, you guys, where learning will increase your bottom line, and Stephen Covey actually talks about this, and I've talked about this many, many times, is that by learning, by taking education, by getting a mentor or a coach, it's going to give you the clarity of your vision of the business. You're going to get crystal clear on what is your purpose, what does your business look like, what are your personal goals? Because you guys, we're in business for ourselves because we have personal goals, right? And it's going to help you make decisions based on those goals. Now, again, oftentimes we're like, I don't have time. There's no way. I have all these things to do. But you guys, if we don't have a clear goal, if we don't have clear objectives, a vision of what we want our business to look like 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 5 years down the line, we're not going to be able to reach those goals. So the wedding and event business owners that are succeeding, loving life, building a business they love, have a 6-figure or more a year company, uncover 5 to 6 figures a month, they have a clear goal. So learning allows you to have that clear goal of what is it going to look like. And this can be that you decide, you know what? I don't know that much about finances. That's really not my strong suit. Should I be looking at cash flow, or should I be making my goals out of profit? Or maybe it's not an issue of the cash flow. Maybe it's the systems and processes that you actually need to get to that goal, and not having the right systems and processes in place. So taking an educational course, learning course, or getting a coach or mentor to have those systems and processes that you actually need, so that you're not spinning your wheels, so that you're not in overwhelm, so you're actually taking care of the problem instead of suffering from the symptoms. So that is reason number one. It really gives you the clarity and the vision of the business. If you're not crystal clear on what your business should be bringing you a year, a month, a quarter, you're never going to get there, and you're leaving cash on the table. Because I remember when I learned this lesson, and I was like, oh, it just gave me confidence in charging. We have terrible winds. It's like 30-mile-an-hour winds. I told you guys that, and my dog goes crazy. Anyway, it gave me confidence in what is the value I should be operating under, instead of couples and clients telling me what I should be charging them for their services based on their budget. It allowed me to have the confidence to really be clear, not only on my vision, my goals for my business, but what types of services and packages will I need to book, and what kind of value should I create in order to get me to that bottom line. So that's reason number one, clarity. Not having clarity, not having a vision, not having financial goals, you guys are leaving money on the table. You're never going to get there. Second thing, okay? The second reason that learning can either increase your bottom line, or if you're not learning, if you're not adapting, is that right now right now, post-pandemic, you guys, whether you're on Clubhouse or you're on other platforms, you're talking to other vendors, we're busy. Our industry, the boom is here, and it's nothing. Our industry is nothing like pre-pandemic. So many things have changed. The floodgates are opening. So, instead of having 4 to 8 inquiries a week, maybe you're doubling or tripling that because the law of supply and demand. And then you're leaving money on the table because you're not equipped to handle those. You don't have the systems and processes, and you're just like I talked about yesterday on the Facebook Live, you're leaving money on the table when you're not getting back to inquiries, when you're not dedicating the right amount of time. And with all these changes that have happened, everything is a lot more time consuming. Planning events in general is a lot more time consuming. There's new ways that we have to do things, whether we're adhering to county ordinances or, making sure that our clients feel comfortable to have their event post-pandemic. There's just a lot more expectations on the client end as well, and they're wanting the clarity. And so if we don't have the bandwidth to dedicate more time to potential clients, they're just going to dismiss us because they're like, these people are not serious about your business. I was talking to a friend of mine who works at a luxury resort, she's a catering manager, and she was telling me, and I've heard this a few times now, but she was the first one who told me that, couples want to see everything. They want to see all of their options. People have been cooped up and just seeing things on their phone screen for so long that when they get out, when they're unleashed into the event or wedding planning world, they want to know what all their options are, And I joke around, but it's like going to a buffet after fasting or being on a diet, and you have your one cheat meal. You've been 6.5 days, you've been super restricted and good about your meal plan, but you keep thinking about food. And then you have that one cheat day and you go to the buffet and you're like, oh, I want this, I want that, I want pizza, I want burgers, I want lasagna, I want chicken fingers. And that's what it feels like. So we need to be able to accommodate those clients and do it with finesse. And what I find right now, my parents traveled cross country recently. I heard it from them because they stayed at many places, locations. I hear this from my clients. I hear this from vendors here locally. Everyone's short-staffed. Everyone is taxed. They're trying to do the best they can do. And what is happening because we're so short-staffed is, I even experienced it when I checked my parents into a local hotel here. They were just rude. They were maxed out. It was the front office agent, probably a supervisor, and he just wasn't friendly. I didn't get the warm and fuzzies, and I was thinking, whoa, like after everything we've been through, you would think that you would be a little kinder, a little more welcoming, but he was taxed out. He was maxed out. It was a terrible check-in experience. I was mortified because I had recommended that place to my parents. I ended up writing a review about it. I'm trying to be kind and nice, but I don't think my expectations have changed. But when people are taxed, they just get short. They don't have the time. They don't have the bandwidth. And this is line staff probably, right? So not even the owners. But I see that with the owners as well. My parents told me they just celebrated their 53rd wedding anniversary on Monday, went out to a restaurant that they always go to. And the owner, the lady who had bought the place pre-pandemic, was seating them. She was playing hostess and made a big deal, recognized them, understood that my parents have been going to this place for 30 years, and just made this big deal about them not having a reservation and just treated them like they were nobody and didn't even ask why they were there. It didn't, it's like a 53 wedding anniversary. I don't know, you can make someone feel super special. And after 30 years of going there, probably about that long, my parents may never go to that restaurant that they love so much ever again because of how they were treated. And on top of that, what happened is the prices had gone up in the restaurant. So not only were they treated bad, when they were about to get seated because they didn't have a reservation. And mind you guys, this was on a Sunday. my mom said, they had 60, 75 seats available and there was only 4 tables sitting there. So this gal who made a big deal about not having a reservation, that's one thing if you're at a crowded restaurant, but there was nobody there. Didn't even, basically said, here's your table, threw the menus down at them and walked away. And then the pricing, everything had gone up. They had doubled, tripled some of their pricing. Their corkage fee had doubled or tripled. And, those expectations go up. And I get it. Pricing is going up because costs are going up, but you have to give more value. So you have to keep up with what the changes are. The short staffing that we're experiencing, the more time that people are going to take from us. And you can't let anything fall through the cracks. Because when you start falling things through the cracks, there's just a new way of needing to do things. There's new expectations, whether it's on your digital platforms or running your business or how you take inquiries, all of that. You really need to streamline it to a very successful, effective, and consistent system. So you have to keep up with those changes that are happening, from expectations to systems and processes. So that's reason number 2, evolving. We have to evolve with the times. These are just really, after last year, because still unprecedented times, and we have to keep up with it. Which brings me to number 3, is really staying competitive, because there are people out there who have just started their businesses during the pandemic, who started chasing their dream, have set up private events or wedding businesses somehow, and they are fresh. I remember, I want to say it was probably 10 years ago when I sat down, and I know I've talked about this story, but I sat down, I was invited at a lunch with planners, local wedding planners, event planners, and there had been a dozen of us that I knew of in my 5-6 previous years of being in business. And I sat at this lunch and I looked around and there's like 35 people. So 20 of them, 18 of them were brand new wedding planners. And I thought, oh my God, where do they come from? I'm going to go out of business. There's so much competition. I need to step up my game. And having those fearful thoughts come in. But when you're learning, the reason to learn is because you want to stay ahead of the curveball. You want to be competitive, stay competitive, keep your business competitive, have that new approach, have the confidence instead of the fear, not contracting because there's more competition, but having the confidence in knowing, oh my gosh, the education that I'm getting, the learning that I'm receiving is bringing me more value for my clients. And it really will help you by learning, by staying evolved. It will help you maximize your potential instead of either getting lost in the riffraff, getting left behind, or just choosing to give up because you don't think you can do it. So that's the third reason that you got to stay constantly learning in your business. And then the fourth reason, you guys, is because when you're learning, when you're taking care of things that aren't working, it's just like, again, back to the car analogy. If I'm driving my car, knowing that there's an issue, hoping and praying. This actually happened to my neighbor. He had a problem with his car starting, and every now and again it wouldn't start, but he would try it again a couple minutes later and it would start, and he was like, oh, shoot, it started. Oh, shoot, it started, right? And how many times have we put ourselves in a scenario like that? But what happens is it increases that level of stress and anxiety, and you're not taking care of that issue. You know that it exists, but you're like, oh, it's going to work. So you're working on hope, right? You're moving your business forward on hopes and crossing your fingers. And instead, one day he was supposed to go, and of course, we'd been in COVID shutdown, so it wasn't a big deal. But one day he was supposed to go meet all his buddies. It was finally like his first getaway. His girlfriend was going to stay in town, and he was supposed to go away for the weekend and go see his buddies in a couple towns here and have a weekend of it. And the car wouldn't start, and it wouldn't start. And I saw the look on his face and the stress in his heart and just the feeling of defeat, like, oh, shoot, I can't believe I let it get this far. And the day that it gives out on me is the big day for me. And, he had to work it out. He ended up being late going up there. He couldn't take his car into the shop. Um, he ended up taking his girlfriend's car. She wasn't too happy about it. I'm sure he was embarrassed. And I mean, it worked out, but it gave him so much stress and anxiety and then caused a problem with the girlfriend. And because he couldn't move his car, and he made the decision of, I'm just going to get out of town and do what I'm supposed to be doing. He couldn't move his car, and he ended up getting a ticket, and it ended up costing him money because he was parked on the wrong side of the street for the one day. So imagine all of that. Why would you put yourself through that, knowing that there's an issue, knowing that there's a problem? So instead of having this stress, of having this anxiety, of trying to figure it out on your own, of hoping that it's just going to change one day without really knowing how to fix it, you know, fix it, figure out how to fix it, whether you're taking an online course or, there's just so many ways about it. There's YouTube videos, there's all that stuff. But once you fix that problem, had he taken care of the starter a few weeks or a few months before when the original symptom happened, he wouldn't had to go through that. It's one thing for your car not to start. It obviously ended up being a lot more expensive because he had to get it towed, and this, he got the parking ticket, this and that. It's a trivial thing. It's not that big of a deal. But imagine in your business if that's what happens. If all of a sudden your inquiries stopped coming in because you didn't know that your website wasn't running like it should be, your inquiry form wasn't getting to you, and then all of a sudden you start getting this reputation of like, oh my gosh, she must be so busy because she's not responding to emails, when in all actuality, it was just that you're not getting your inquiries into your inbox. So once you resolve those issues, once you take education to fix the problems that are impeding you from making the revenue you deserve, making the bottom line, the cash flow that you deserve, you're going to be able to fix it and run more confidently, right? And once you're more confident, you're going to have an increase in your commitment level. You're just going to walk a little taller. You're going to be a little more excited about running your business. You're going to shine brighter. That energy is going to go out into your inquiries, into other planners, into venues, clients, who, whatever the case might be, because you're having that confidence, you're having that increase in commitment back into the business. And what happens is you start seeing the results, and it gives you more confidence because you're having those results. So what ends up happening is you're going to be able to save time, and you're going to work less doing the right things versus trying to spin your wheels, trying to figure out what needs to be fixed and trying to do it all. And you're going to be able to have more time to do the things that you love, to be the reason why we got into business for ourselves. There's no reason, even though the wedding and event boom is here now, there's no reason why you should be working 80 hours a week on your business. You should be able to work 40 and still make the same amount of money, if not more, once you have, the problems and the kinks figured out. You understand, what's keeping you from your goal, what your goal is, and adapting to the changes and really maximizing your potential. So those are the 4 reasons that learning is so important, especially now more than ever, to stay evolved, to keep current, to be a trendsetter, to really create that digital visibility, that be a visible leader, actually, is what it is. That's the key, is to be a visible leader so that people notice you and they see like, oh, wow, this person is changing. They are evolving. And that's why they will hire you, because you care enough about your business, because you care enough about growing and providing the best result for your clients. And that really affects the bottom line. And then I'll give you a quick bonus one, you guys. And this is about self-learning versus coaching. There's so much help out there. I can't even tell you how many self-learning coaches or lessons I've purchased, how much money I've spent on that. I talk to clients all the time about, oh, but I got my certification in event and wedding planning. That's not enough. Oftentimes when we do these self-taught lessons or YouTube videos or downloadables or whatever the case might be, again, we put them in a to-do later box, to-do later box, to-do later box, and you never get around to it. Or by the time you do get around to it, you can't remember the reason why you signed up for it in the first place. So if any of that sounds like you and you do want to make a change, you do want to catapult your business and your career and uncover these 5 figures and have a 6-figure wedding and event business, coaching is really the way to go. For me, coaching and mentorship has helped me scale my businesses, has allowed me to run 3 businesses effectively that I love without working 90 hours a week. And what happens, the biggest difference is that with coaching and mentoring, there's accountability versus the I'll do it later drawer, I'll do it later tab, the start item of I'll get to it, my to-do list, right? So it brings that accountability, and with accountability comes action, and with action comes results, and with results, you see success much quicker and you see the results much quicker. And that just continues to go hand in hand, because accountability leads to success, leads to results, which leads to success. So, right now, you guys, we don't have time to figure it out. People are booking right now. And if you're not out there, as a visible leader in the industry, wherever you work, you could be leaving a lot of money on the table, because people are needing you, wanting you, and making sure that they're going to be very well taken care of, and that you provide the value that they deserve, just like you should be paid the value that you deserve. So if you're having a challenge, if you're not clear on your vision, if you're not clear about how to keep up with all the changes that are happening, if you're wanting to maximize your full potential and it's just not meshing right now, and you're ready to increase your commitment level, increase your results in less time, and have more time doing the things you love, let's set up a call. Let's figure out what's not working in your business. Let's take a deep dive in it. Go to zoefelici.biz/apply, set up a complimentary 45-minute breakthrough call with me, and let's take a look under the hood, you guys. Let's figure out what's not working, what the symptoms are, if I can help you get there and get it fixed, and how. I'm happy to show you how. Go to zoefelici.biz/apply. It'll take you right to my calendar. Pick a time that works for you. Allow 45 minutes to an hour for us to take, spend the best time on your business, working on your business. I guarantee it. And right after you make the appointment with me, fill out the breakthrough form, and it'll ask you just a couple questions so I can get to know you before our call. And let's do it, you guys. 2020-wonderful is here. The boom is here now. And this is our opportunity to shine. This is our opportunity to really build a business that we love, attracting clients who we love, making the money that we want, and do this over and over and over for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever your business plan is, okay? I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for Social Media Saturday. Again, today's #1 tip, the one thing for the 45-day challenge is get under the hood. What needs to be fixed? Figure that out, okay? Ciao for now. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much.